me really scared of David Bowie for years.
Right.
And it's just like he was a pop star that I was the most wary of growing up, which is even more shocking because I live next door to Gary Glitter.
That was a genuine turn of phrase from Alex, and we just couldn't help thinking, calling David Bowie the quirky fella with the wafty eye. It's like referring to Jesus as a long-haired bloke with the wooden backpack. Last week on the show, we need to update you on something we created. We created a website for our favourite health secretary, Jeremy Hunt, on which users could blow a bugle in his face, and it looked like this. As you can see, since last week... I mean, it's very addictive. Since we set it up last week, it has had over 10 million bugles.
We got our highest ever viewing figures last week, didn't we? And it was a tenth as many... That got 10 times as many bugles as we got views. Channel 4 should just put that on their fucking TV.
Well, we don't know whether 10 million people visited the site or whether 1,000 people have bugled him 100,000 times each.
Sorry, is this a maths exam?
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this, mate.
We are here to answer your big questions this week. Just tweet them to us at the last leg. Use the hashtag IsItOK. For example, is it okay that former cricketer Shane Warne suggested this week that aliens are responsible for humans evolving?
Oh, is that a no?
That's a no.
Oh, sorry.
Is it okay that even Donald Trump is thinking, wow, that orange-faced dude with the weird hair has got some pretty crazy views? Let's jump feet first in the news. As Charlie Welton tweeted, is it okay to ask, I don't understand whether it would be a good or bad thing to leave the EU? Hashtag confused.
Well, for a start, that's not a question. So it's not OK to ask that, because that's a statement.
Yeah.
That's a good
Is
point.
it OK to ask that? No.
And he's misspelt weather, so
Yeah.
it's not going... All right, we're going to have to simplify this. OK, here we go. Are you ready? We're going to simplify the whole thing. This is David Cameron. He's the British Prime Minister. He's the one in the jumper. David Cameron wants Britain to remain part of the European Union, with Germany, France, and wherever this guy is from. A lot of British people feel they're being treated unfairly by the EU and preferred it when Britain's relationship to Europe was like this.
That makes me feel nostalgic.
So David Cameron wants us to vote on the subject. But first... we just thought that was good. But first he went to all the EU members and asked if we could be treated a little bit better. The German Prime Minister wants us to stay. Nigel Farage wants us to leave. And Boris Johnson is still deciding which way to swing. He's the Mayor of London. Lads, how do we feel about all this?
Well, more confused now. So can otters vote?
Otters can't vote. That was just a funny photo we
Oh,
found.
sorry, I'm completely lost.
That's there because we couldn't find a monkey, to be perfectly honest.
I feel, about the EU...
Yeah.
Bored. I don't understand it. None of us understand it. Why? I don't understand why you're bringing something no one understands to a referendum. You might as well just have a bomb disposal expert and we vote, is it the red or the blue wire? And the problem is, I think they can get away with anything, because I've never read an article about the EU beyond the first paragraph without drifting off. I don't know any of that. For all I know, paragraph 2 is, did you know they wear rabbits as mittens? No offence. And, you've got a rabbit, haven't you? No,
I'm a little bit quirky at weekends.
Do you know the worst thing about that? I count this as the weekend, and I'm worried.
What do you make of it all, Alex?
Do you know what? I've given it a lot of thought this week.
Yep.
And the way I see it, I'm quite torn on it because, on the one hand, they've just suddenly, you know, all the data roaming charges in the EU, they've gone down now.
Yeah.
And it's now, you know, cheaper than ever to tell people on Facebook you're having a great holiday and brag.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, how many times have they screwed us over in Eurovision? Like Blue, in 2011, entered Eurovision. They came 11th. I'm sorry, but I just washed my hands of it after that.
How are you allowed to do the hand jokes, but I'm not? That's...
Oh, that was just a normal... Oh, sorry, I washed my little hands of it. There we go.
It kind of comes down to which celebrity convinces you the most, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because Michael Caine says we should get out. Actress Emma Thompson says we should stay in, but also described Britain as, quote, a cake-filled, misery-laden, grey old island, which turned half of England against her but made her a hero in Australia.
Michael Caine wants to leave because he's worried Italy are going to find out he stole all that gold. That was a slow response, wasn't it? Started with nothing, ended up with a round of applause. What was that?
I was going to say that was a lot funnier. Leave it, carry on.
Okay. Football may also be affected as EU players would need special dispensation for contracts, which means Arsenal 2, Leicester 1 could be a tally of the number of players left on each team. And look, I'm not sure how I feel about all this because, you know, on the one hand, I understand Britain wants to go off on its own, but I do think it would probably affect the EU. And, you know, as an Australian, I mean, I can't imagine what would happen if New Zealand ever wanted to become independent from us.
Forrest Gump with the feather, then.
I said glitter after that joke. Glitter!
People at home haven't seen that, and it now looks like we're all having a breakdown. Just for people at home, a bit of confetti just fell down.
We have just found out that a deal has just been reached. And I'm not saying David Cameron was a little bit cocky, but his people had organised a full English breakfast for this morning to celebrate the end of the deal. And then that didn't happen, so they had to reschedule an English lunch, and then that became an English dinner. And at one point, James Mates from ITN tweeted this photo of Angela Merkel ducking out for some hot chips.
Is that real?
That's real. In the middle of it all, she just went out and
That
got
looks like she's gone for a drunken takeaway. That's the problem, though. They were, like, trying to make this decision at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
No good decision has ever been made at 5 a.m. Yeah, we've made a decision on the EU and I've texted my ex-girlfriend.
I mean, to be fair to Cameron,
yeah,
he's done what he went out there. He's going to be on it this weekend, isn't he? This is going to be like uni days, David Cameron. Like the real naughty shit.
Well, just before we went to
Allegedly.
air tonight, David Cameron announced that a deal has been agreed to give the UK special status in the EU. Special status. It will now be known as Special Britain. But all this was done, like, about half an hour ago, which makes me think maybe all the EU members, like, they said, hey, if we get this done by the morning, we have the English breakfast. Oh, that sounds dull. What if it's later in the day? Lunch? Nah. English afternoon tea? Nah. Ooh, what is your English lock-in?
That's why Merkel's out for the chips. She's been on enough all day as well.
But the thing is, what does all this mean for Britain? So, it's hard to explain. So let's put it this way. The EU is a bit like a manufactured pop band, and Britain may be the first one to leave and try for a solo career. But right now, it's too soon to know how it's going to go in the long run.
So, with the boy bands, I mean, being the first one, it can go either way. I mean, look at Justin Timberlake. He wanted to leave NSYNC, then they split up. He's just got better and better, and he gets better looking with age.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, Brian Harvey left E17 and ran over his own head.
That is the most biting political commentary I've heard all week on this situation. But I think that's right. I think we need to use that analogy to explain what's happening. So let's go back in time and use history to make our point. Because there's every chance that a Brexit will resemble the fortunes of Take That. It starts off as one strong, united group that everyone loves. However, a few cracks start to appear. Robbie gets annoyed with the rest of the group, and he goes out on his own.
I won't let you down. I will not give you up. Gotta have some faith in myself. It's the one good thing that I got. I won't let you down. So please don't give me up. Cause I would really, really love to stick around.
And that's what could happen.
Number one.
That's the best case scenario. A new megastar is born and we become Robbie Williams. On the other hand, however, it may all end up looking like the Spice Girls. Here they are on top of the world showing off their power.
Stop right now, thank you very much. I need somebody with a human touch. Hey you, always on the run. Gotta slow it down, baby, gotta have some fun.
But then Jerry decides to go off on her own and ends up doing this.
Take me back to my sweet La Vida. Find my love, my Dolce Vita. Show me where I need to go. Donde está mi chico latino?
Yeah.
I'm just delighted we managed to book the actual Jerry Halliwell.
So here's the thing, half of Britain are going to tell you we're going to be Robbie Williams, the other half will tell you we're going to be Jerry Halliwell, and either way it won't really matter because America doesn't give a shit about either of them. All right, it's time to bring out tonight's guest. Would you please welcome actress, comedian and star of the Catherine Tate Show, Catherine Tate! Catherine, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts on the EU referendum?
Well, to my great shame, I didn't know it was happening. No, I mean, I had heard talk, but they're doing it, are they?
There is going to be a referendum, I think.
And that, yeah, they're going to ask us.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
If I hadn't have been in work this week, I wouldn't have known anything about it.
I didn't. No.
Nah.
Has it crept up on us, or is it just me being quite...
No, it's been
coming
everywhere.
to the party quite late?
A little bit, yeah.
What are you...
Do you have a thought? Do you have any opinion?
I mean, I don't think we're going to leave, are we?
Nah.
Would you thought? No.
Nah.
We're not. I'm sure we're not.
No, because none of us know the vote's happening, so run.
All right, on with more news. Chris Fletcher said, is it OK to bring in a sugar tax to see if Starbucks hot mulled fruit 25 teaspoons of sugar try to dodge paying it? Look, if there's anyone that'll be barely affected by the new tax, it's someone who was barely paying the old one. A survey found this week that many hot drinks sold in high street coffee chains and fast food outlets have an enormous amount of sugar. I mean, who'd have thought a large hot chocolate with caramel syrup and whipped cream would have had a lot of sugar in it? The thing is, in many ways, I mean, we all knew this. If you have a hot drink, then run 4 laps of the office, it's probably not good for you. You know what I mean? When bees are attracted to your urine, it's time to switch to water.
Oh, is that a problem?
I mean, it's now come to the point where coffee is the healthiest alternative in some of these shops. The worst offender was the hot mulled fruit grape with chai, orange and cinnamon from Starbucks, which had 25 teaspoons of sugar. That's almost 3 times more sugar than you get in a can of Coke. And to measure it out, that is this much sugar.
Sweet Jesus.
Oh, yeah, it is sweet.
Now, Starbucks have pledged to reduce the amount of sugar in their drinks. Catherine, what do you
No,
think?
that's terrible. I mean, you know, I don't care about much, but that is terrible. But if they're going to ban it in the EU, you know what I mean?
But you've lived in America where, like, sugar is a way of life, haven't you?
Sugar is a way of life, and I believe the sugar lobby is very high in America, which is why... or is very strong.
Yeah.
But having said that, so is the anti-sugar and the pro-health one, because in... certainly in California, where I was living, they would have on the sides of buses to kind of compensate for, I guess, all the sugar in everyone's diet in a great American way. It just had a bottle of fizzy drink, and it just says, drinking this will give you cancer.
Wow.
And there was another one, and it will say, eat sugar No, it didn't say eat sugar and you'll die, because I don't suppose they can say that. But it will.
We all will die, so they can say that.
Just saying what's on the box. I know.
Do you think there should be a sugar tax? Everyone?
No, I think what they should do... have you ever had salt and shake crisps? So you get your drink, but they give you the sugar, so you know how much you're putting in.
Well, that's called tea without sugar, and...
That's called tea without sugar. It's a great idea. Let's do it.
That's called when they say, would you like sugar with that?
That's called would you like sugar with that?
Brooke, I don't agree with the amount of sugar in that drink, but I do quite admire the efficiency of having a whole year's worth of sugar in one hit.
That's good. Get it out of the way.
January, I'm sorted.
I would happily pay a sugar tax. If it was introduced, I would happily pay extra tax just to have more sugar in the drink, because that would be the first tax that might actually save you an arm and a leg. So...
Sorry, that's too far. There was a Gary Glitter joke 30 seconds in.
To demonstrate what this amount of sugar does to your body, Alex is now going to drink one of those drinks, and we'll see what it does to him throughout the show.
I mean, I don't think we should be playing a gamble with his body, should we?
I mean, you know I've had an issue with I've got these new jeans on.
Yeah.
They're quite tight, and I don't know where stuff is at the moment. I mean, throw a load of sugar in the mix. I mean, this is a white sofa. So, you know.
Well, and to show you exactly what you're putting your body through when you do that, Josh is going to eat 25 teaspoons of sugar.
Is that it?
Yep.
Is that real? Is that real?
They're both real.
Well, you
Oh,
can
my
buy
word.
these in Starbucks here.
Sorry?
You can buy these in Starbucks here.
Yes.
That's not like in America. Oh.
Oh, my...
That's the
So you want
25
me to eat this?
Go on.
Oh, no.
There's exactly the same amount of sugar in both of those.
It's very dry.
Wash it down a bit of that then.
Go on. We'll keep this going through the ad.
Oh, my God, it's absolutely fucking
Oh,
wild.
I don't know.
If he does lose a foot to diabetes, he's sorted for material for the Paralympics.
Come on, keep going. You've
All
only
right.
2 mouthfuls.
2 mouthfuls?
It's so sweet.
Come on, son.
We'll be back with more of The Last Leg soon as we find out what Stephen Fry and Jeb Bush have in common, and we'll ask who would win in a fight between Donald Trump and the Pope. We'll see you in a little bit.
Me really scared of David Bowie for years.
Right.
And it's just like he was a pop star that I was the most wary of growing up, which is even more shocking because I live next door to Gary Glitter.
That was a genuine turn of phrase from Alex, and we just couldn't help thinking, calling David Bowie the quirky fella with the wafty eye. It's like referring to Jesus as the long-haired bloke with the wooden backpack. Last week on the show, we need to update you on something we created. We created a website for our favourite health secretary, Jeremy Hunt, on which users could blow a bugle in his face, and it looked like this. As you can see, since last week... I mean, it's very addictive. Since we set it up last week, it has had over 10 million bugles.
We got our highest ever viewing figures last week, didn't we? And it was a tenth as many... That got 10 times as many bugles as we got views. Channel 4 should just put that on their fucking TV.
Well, we don't know whether 10 million people visited the site or whether 1,000 people have bugled him 100,000 times each.
Sorry, is this a maths exam?
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this, mate.
We are here to answer your big questions this week. Just tweet them to us at The Last Leg. Use the hashtag #IsItOK. For example, is it okay that former cricketer Shane Warne suggested this week that aliens are responsible